Hey everyone, I am Rashad K, and this is They Forgot About Us, a true crime podcast that tells the stories of the murdered and missing African American women, men, and children. On this episode of They Forgot About Us, I tell the story of Brittany Clardy, an 18-year-old woman who was murdered in St. Paul, Minnesota on February 11, 2013. On that day, Brittany told her mom she was going to the corner store and will be right back. Brittany left in a 2000 silver Chrysler Concorde, and 10 days later, her body was found. Brittany Clardy was born on June 29, 1994, in St. Paul, Minnesota, to Marquita and Alvin Clardy. Her mother, Marquita, worked in human resources, and Alvin, her father, worked in manufacturing. Brittany came from a loving family and supportive community. They provided her with a car and a cell phone. She regularly got new clothes. Her funky sock addiction was allowed to thrive, with her mom always picking her up a new pair when she was out running errands. She also had a spoiled side, earning her the nickname Brit Brat. Whatever Brittany wanted, Brittany got it. She was a student in the St. Paul public school system. She was the more reserved of Marquita Clarity's four children, the one who clung to her cart in the grocery store while the other children zoomed around to find food. She was a planner, plotting out guest lists and themes months before her birthday parties, a skill that served her at Northdale Recreation Center through St. Paul Parks and Recreation, where she worked for years as a youth coordinator. Brittany loved kids so much, she was so good with them that they would cling to her. She told her mom she didn't want to have any of her own because she already had 30 at the rec center. High school also came naturally to her. She got good grades and loved chemistry. Brittany wanted to be a pharmacist. Brittany was very close with her sister, Lakeisha Lee. Lakeisha noticed that Brittany was often sad around Brittany's junior year of high school. When Lakeisha would ask Brittany what was wrong, Brittany would usually keep it to herself. Brittany would frequently cry a lot or wouldn't talk about it. And most likely the reason behind Brittany's frequent cries is a man named Alberto Palmer. Alberto Palmer was living with his brother at the time of Brittany's disappearance. Alberto and Brittany met on a website called Backpage. Brittany had listed herself as a sex worker on the website. Brittany was supposed to meet up with Alberto that night, but her family didn't know her secrets. Instead, Brittany told her mom, Marquita, that she was going to the corner store real quick and would be right back. Time goes by and Brittany doesn't come home. So Marquita gets very worried and calls her daughter Lakeisha to ask if she heard from Brittany. Marquita tells Lakeisha that Brittany told her she was going to the corner store hours ago and never returned. So Marquita and Lakeisha called family and friends to see if anyone had heard from Brittany, but nobody had seen or heard from her. So they called the police that evening, and the police said, well, since she was 18, maybe she had gone off with her boyfriend. Lakeisha told the police that Brittany would not just run away with her boyfriend. She would never do that. Brittany had just recently bought a car, so they made sure to go to the car lot place and let them know to be on the lookout for Brittany's car, and if it shows up, please call the family. The car lot received a letter in the mail weeks later from an impound lot. They called Marquita immediately, met with her at the impound lot location, and told her to go home. Later that evening, the detectives went to the home of Brittany Clardy. Lakeisha opened the door. The detectives are asking for her parents so they can tell them the heartbreaking news. Brittany's body was found inside her car 10 days after she was reported missing. Police investigated Brittany's life and found out about Alberto. So the police went and spoke with him. They realized that Alberto's brother's house was just a short walk away from where Brittany's body was found. When the police questioned him, Alberto confessed to meeting Brittany that day. He claimed he brought Brittany back to his apartment, but lost his temper once they began arguing about money. Alberto confessed to strangling Brittany before beating her to death with a hammer. When the police carried out a thorough search of Alberto's brother's apartment, they noticed large blood stains on the floor, which matched Brittany's DNA. Also, a resident of the same apartment mentioned that Alberto had used her blanket to wrap Brittany's body up and that she noticed the suspect cleaning the murder scene. Naturally, these pieces of evidence, along with Alberto's confession, were enough to arrest and charge him with murder. Reports state that Alberto Palmer was previously suspected of sexually abusing and assaulting 3 sex workers in Georgia. While Alberto awaited his trial, the police found the body of Clarissa Cook and were able to link her murder to him. Although Clarissa and Brittany's murder trials were held separately, Alberto Palmer pled guilty to first-degree murder in both cases. For killing Clarissa, Alberto Palmer was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum of 30 years, while Brittany's murder netted him a consecutive 40-year prison sentence, both in 2014. Alberto is still not eligible for parole, and he remains incarcerated at the MCF Rush City in Chicago County, Minnesota. September 2023, Democrats introduced a bill to establish a national office for missing and murdered Black women and girls. The bill was named after Brittany Clardy, the Brittany Clardy Act. The bill would establish an office for missing and murdered Black women and girls within the Department of Justice. The office will focus on cases of missing and murdered Black women and girls and offer hope to the families and friends of the nearly 100,000 missing Black women and girls across the country. May Brittany Clardy rest in peace. Thank you for listening. Follow us on Instagram at They Forgot About Us Podcast. Please email us at theyforgotaboutus@gmail.com. Leave us a comment and give us a rating.